So we've got Aito going ahead and scanning off to the west. He's found some water and aluminum already. Just a touch of carbon. He's probably going to be looking around a bit more to find some resources that aren't aluminum. Indecision, on the other hand, he went straight south and found almost nothing. He's just got a small patch of water he's located and small amounts of carbon. So neither of them really finding anything very, very quickly that would lead them to found immediately. Although they do have completely differing opinions on the map, which amuses me.
Yeah.
Aito ran into huge numbers of resources, and Indecision ran into almost nothing.
Yeah, Aito's avoiding the ice. Some people are like that.
Some
They
people
just
avoid
like to
the
stay
ice.
away from ice.
Yeah, which is weird. I like if there is ice, I actually like to check that out pretty early, because if you do find resources in there, you can always know you can convert those tiles into something else later on.
Yep.
Even if you don't end up needing them, like convert your aluminum, convert your iron. It's absolutely fantastic. Wow.
Oh.
Nobody located any silicon yet, I believe. And
really?
Indecision's decided to throw down on these low iron tiles, and in the midst of this aluminum.
Yeah, for scientific, I think that looks like a good spot.
I think that's an okay spot.
That's okay.
His only concern is his inability to really make glass easily.
I see some silicon up north.
There's just two things
wow,
of silicon.
There's only two on the whole map.
And they're both scientific. All right, that's interesting.
Boy, oh no, there's another pair of silicon.
There you
so.
go.
Okay, that's
northeast.
So actually, they'll both have basically the same amount of silicon, I assume.
Interestingly,
the issue is the iron. That's the only spot of iron, and is Indecision going to get? He's going to get the only triple.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have the advantage when it comes to adjacency. He's going to be getting 3 steel a second, I believe. Aito, if he chooses to take additional steel, he's going to be sitting on what, 2.5? He's going to be missing 1 adjacency bonus, kind of like 1 whole 100%.
Oh man!
Yep.
He's claiming the silicon.
Wow, that's a bold move.
That is aggressive.
I wonder if he doesn't see. I wonder if he doesn't see the other silicon, because it just seems totally unnecessary.
He definitely revealed it, but who knows if he actually, saw it? Because I've had that issue sometimes. Where I'm like, oh, I have all of this research on the map.
Yeah,
there's just like a pair sitting off in a corner.
Yeah, and if he hit Q, he would basically just see a line there. I'm pretty sure. So.
Almost certainly. So he probably noticed, and decided maybe this tile's worth it anyway.
Oh man, and they both
driving this up very, very slowly. Aito seems to be thinking about it. Either that, or he's just trying to take some time and look around the map, and decide what he needs to do. Aito does have black market access at this point. It's some ways away for Indecision. Really, 10,000 for a claim. That feels very, very cheap.
Seems low. Yeah, for sure.
I believe it went to Aito, didn't it? Yeah, he's sitting
there.
Let's see what he's going to do with it. What would you do with that claim?
I would probably just go ahead and
go get the steel. Yep, that's what he's going to do.
I mean, the other option, I think, was to take the really nice high water tile away, potentially.
Is that the only high water?
No.
There's 2 high waters.
There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. But one of them, well,
it's interesting.
Actually looks a bit better to me, and that's the one that's further away.
Yeah, because there's only one triangle off the high water. Normally normally high waters are more surrounded, but not in this case. We've got the solar panels going up on
the silicon. I wonder if he's gonna claim. I don't know if he's gonna claim the other 2.
Yeah, that's gonna push. That's gonna push the price down. I would think.
Yeah. Push the price down significantly. Aito may be able to take some advantage off of that for some time. I don't know. I mean, 2 solar panels. That is a lot. I mean, we can see he's made those silicon tiles significantly more valuable by doing that, and he's not getting the actual silicon benefit off of them.
Right.
It'd be a little bit frustrating to me personally.
So it looks like Indecision grabbed that good high water you like.
No, that's the high water too there.
Right.
You have a couple of them, and so it's not critical this game, but it is at least worth paying attention to. However, I don't expect water to be a huge problem for either player. Like, neither player can really lock the other either.
Yeah.
So.
I don't assume power is going to be a big play either.
Everything is very... Yeah.
Oh, wow. And that completely kills power. Indecision's got to be upset about that one. You've got a power surplus, which is just going to drive the price down even more.
That's ugly. He might have just switched those to just make silicon, I guess, if he doesn't want to do glass.
I'm starting to wonder if he actually did see those silicon up there.
I think he did see them. I don't know why he grabbed.
He wouldn't do this game if he saw all of this.
If I thought those were the only 2 silicon on the map, for sure I would grab them.
Like, and you just like put power on them, whatever, so you won't be wasting your money.
Better silicon, but I don't know if I would have. I maybe would have taken the one.
Sure.
And even.
Then, you know, my opponent probably won't take the one next to it because there are 2 others, and he'll go for those ones so he can guarantee his adjacency bonuses, and I've just guaranteed the slightly closer ones, and that's okay.
If I didn't know the silicon there existed and I claimed just these 2, I would at least put a quarry on one of them.
Yeah. Well, Aito just put quarries on the other 2. This is a very mirrored game right now. It's hard to see where the leverage is going to come, or maybe this one's just going to go the distance if they both do pretty well.
Pirates for
2,000?
That's
crazy.
I think he was spending too much time thinking about what to do with his claims because he had just upgraded and maybe didn't get to the pirates in time.
Yeah, so that's a big misplay right there. That's 200 steel right there.
Yeah, 200 steel going to get grabbed up by that.
Let's just
go. That is definitely going to be problematic. Aito did go ahead and scrap a solar panel. I would be a little bit surprised if we don't see a quarry go down over. Indecision scrapped a solar panel.
Yeah. Oh, we also just saw 2 dry ice condensers coming up.
Yeah, he should have repurposed them just very much.
Which could produce the oxygen needed for a glass furnace, glass blower.
Could. I'm still a little.
Yeah, the glass furnace is on the way to the silicon, so the oxygen will come from the dry ice condensers.
He's so worried about power. He just claimed the geotherm. At this point, he's losing money on fuel.
Yeah, he should have put those condensers much closer to the glass furnaces because it will ship directly from the condensers to the furnaces.
Yeah, I think he placed them there because they were on top of water tiles as well.
Oh yeah.
And so he can convert them if that becomes necessary.
I
don't know if the condensers were the best call this game.
Yeah, there's plenty of water on the map.
And you can make oxygen from the water that's available.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting decision.
I think he did it for the glass furnaces. Like I think he was just thinking like that allows him to get glass going earlier than he thinks Aito will be able to.
One thing I will say in the condenser's favor is that its massive power requirement has been a little bit curbed in this game just because of the simple low price of power.
And we got the first Geo out. Just another advantage of Indecision's location.
Yeah,
he has that Geo right next to it.
It does have that potential for even a superconductor to Geo for them, so that's a massive amount of power off of just a single tile, if he can get all of that put together.
Now, Aito, on the other hand, instead of 2 tiles to dry ice condenser, he has 2 tiles on a hydrolysis reactor, which is what I would prefer, knowing that they're scientific. If Indecision was not scientific, I more understand the dry ice move. But there's so much water on this map, I don't know, I just would have preferred seeing a hydrolysis reactor go down instead of the dry ice.
Agreed. We do see a pat flat actually going down on Indecision's low aluminum tile, so I would be a bit surprised if we don't see superconductor coming out.
Yeah, oh yeah, that seems like the obvious move.
Also, Aito is sitting on 41,000 of debt, almost 42 now, and Indecision has only 25.
Now, where did that difference in debt come from? Did that come from? There wasn't an auction, was it?
There was an auction for the most part. That claim auction.
Right.
I think Aito's gotten both auctions so far. He spent a total of 12,000 on it. On top of that, Indecision did have power up and running
earlier,
for a little while, which did kind of cut the edge off of his debt a little bit.
He has got $6,000 right now. I'd love to see him make a quick buy of 1 share of stock of Aito, punish him a little bit for that debt.
Might be a good idea. He's going to take on. Oh, they're still fighting over this.
Ooh, nanotech.
So taking it up to 18,000.
Aito might sink in debt.
Well, now his price is going to drop a lot more. That going that high makes them. They must think this game is going to go a lot longer than a typical 2-player game.
62,000 debt. We're about to get a 10% increase on that. That's going to jump up to 70,000 very, very shortly.
Yep.
And make his stop price quite cheap if Indecision wants to make some plays around it.
Yeah, we're starting.
My big concern.
And there he goes. He bought.
He's going for it with what he can, but my concern right now is he doesn't really have a lot of money coming in.
Yep.
He would have to wait for a glass shipment to come in. That's going to take forever because glass furnaces are just so slow. He might need to send some of it himself. I don't know if he can take big advantage off of this.
Yeah.
Before Aito manages to cut some of it away.
Nice mutiny of the steel mill right now. Go ahead.
I'm saying that he is researching nanotech, right?
No,
He's
doing
researching a
superconductor.
superconductor. Sorry, nanotech is already taken by Aito for 18,000.
Another geotherm is coming out now, but of course, Indecisions are going to be producing twice as well as Aito's. I think that'll be a big advantage with the price of power right now.
That is an interesting mutiny. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. It's maybe it didn't cost a whole lot of that, but maybe it could have gone down somewhere else. With the price of power where it's at right now, Aito has 3 solar panels up. Maybe you could have cut into that, try and drive his debt a little bit higher. Maybe you could have purchased a power surge to hit him with when daytime came. I don't know if it was the best use of that black market.
Yeah, but he gave himself 2 extra 50% bonuses on steel and took one away from Indecision.
It's true, but steel itself is not terribly useful right now, and Aito really didn't need a whole lot of it. I mean, it's up to $58. It was down to 30 when that mutiny was going on. Oh wow, that's another power surplus.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
I mean, I think part of it is the Indecision just needs to knock those pirates down. What he actually probably should have done is, you think it would have worked fast enough? I would almost delete the steel mills and put up metal mines to clear those pirates. Although with the price of iron right now, that wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about doing that when you've got 2 scientifics down is iron actually goes kind of high.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see an iron transition at some point, but it happening out of Indecision before these pirates are cleared up probably wouldn't be the best decision. Surplus on fuel is going to be quite beneficial for Indecision, I would think.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to work heavily in his favor.
I think Indecision should have used a second stock buy in Aito, not on himself. I don't think there's any reason to protect yourself if you've got a big stock advantage in the 2-player game.
Yeah, I generally agree with that. That was a lot of money down the drain that he is not investing anywhere.
Yeah, I'd rather upgrade or spend it on Aito. Get him to sweat.
Alright. How are these glass furnaces doing? I can't check, unfortunately. I don't think Indecision has gotten a shipment in from them yet, but I could be... Oh, here we go. They're going to be coming in now, so he's about to get a huge influx of cash, and we're going to have to pay attention to what he manages to do with that.
Mm-hmm. But those pirates wish they were on that glass shipment. That would be
sending another one.
Pirates. I understand wanting to take the steel. It kind of just tries to take away your opponent's upgrade material. That's fantastic. And energy short. Well, the game doesn't know what it wants to do with energy this game. Against a scientific, you can almost always hold on for something better.
Yep.
I wonder why Aito just went ahead and put a solar panel there.
He's really worried about power. I mean, the price of power has stayed high. I think we're going to see slant drilling soon from Indecision. He just dropped down a third glass furnace. Not on silicon, but right next to it.
Could be for slant drilling. Silicon is definitely expensive enough that it might be worthwhile. My concern is if you commit too much into patents, you really need to make sure you're getting a good solid benefit off of them because you don't have a lot of time to mess around.
Yeah, but they are scientific. They'll get those patents faster.
Yep.
And it does say it needs silicon, and his patent lab is still sleeping.
Yeah, he hasn't done it yet. In practice,
slant drilling. He is.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's doing it right now.
He's going to be sitting on a nice solid 6 iron per second.
Nope.
Oh man, another.
Like $120, $130.
Wow, this is comedic.
Just behind the curve.
Yeah, look at that split in iron and steel prices. If there was if they were playing against expansive or a robotic, this would be a disaster for the scientific player.
A huge problem, potentially. Of course, there's also the chance that if this were against expansive or robotic, iron would be at $3 when that short happened.
Yeah, that's true.
But you have some good going down. You're going to knock out some good decisions farms. Makes perfectly good sense for Aito, given that he is relying quite heavily on that food production in order to make his money at the moment.
Right.
Wow, this is actually really important. Indecision, based off of this glass income and what he's managing to do with this iron short, is very, very close to buying Aito out. You've just got that debt hitting him too terribly hard. He's making some stock sales of his own stock. Because Aito's nowhere near killing him off. He may be able to just finish the game right
now.
It
was 100%. It was 100%.
Well, sometimes you just have to notice.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. He keeps bouncing around.
I think he can do it if he just hits the buttons he needs to. But Aito's fighting back, trying to take stock in time.
He may not realize. He may try to upgrade. That might be his problem. We'll see.
He's pushing for it, but he wasn't willing to go all out. He wasn't willing to make that final push, and I think he missed his opportunity if Aito has the income he needs from his food.
They still say on 120 glass. I mean, it just totally depends on what he decides. Oh, there we go.
Ah, there you go. And none of them made it to the 5th?
Nope.
There you go.
Nope.
I
Well,
think that quick little iron transition made a huge difference. Just being able to get that tiny edge that he needed to make sure Aito couldn't keep buying his stock every time. That was very interesting.
Very interesting. It's
Indecision
interesting.
just
It's
made
quick.
so much more money that game and had less debt. That's just what it came down to.
yeah. Maybe that little power advantage early on paid off in the long run. Who knows?
Well, I think the big thing was that the power that he took early game didn't hurt Indecision too much. It didn't cost him too much to construct. He still had the tiles he could use for glass furnaces, and then he just kind of stuck to them and made the transition into a geotherm. Aito, on the other hand, was relying on bouncing back and forth between his silicon tiles and turning them into power or silicon glass. And unfortunately, he chose wrong at a very unfortunate moment. His power surplus was kind of on its way in. He had 3 solar panels up.
Right.
He was having to make those transitions happen. He needed to get back into glass furnaces, which were already hugely expensive because nobody was bringing in silicon. They didn't need to. They didn't care.
Yep.
And so that just caused him major problems. So I think he fell behind the curve with glass. He relied too heavily on one single resource in that food and didn't get to the iron transition fast enough.
Mm-hmm. If
Yeah,
PB had,
it's bought 36,000 almost in glass.
yeah,
Even with these glass furnaces running, he just never got to use them.
PB had brought up a point in the chat that he should have power surged the iron. There was an interesting moment when he deleted his own steel mills. That would have been the time when he could have done that without having hurt himself, since he was transitioning as well.
Yeah, good point.
That would have been an interesting move.
Yeah. It definitely would have been. I was a little bit surprised Aito couldn't ride those pirates a little bit better. I don't know. They didn't seem to be rolling very well in his favor. It seemed like it took a very long time for those pirates to actually get eaten up.
Yep.
Which is a bit unfortunate for him. But he did definitely get a couple of nice advantages in this game at times. It just didn't manage to pan out. But yeah, I think this is so huge. Like, Indecision bought 3,000 worth of iron that game and sold 33,000. And we saw how long he had that iron production up. Aito only sold about 12,000.
Yeah, well
that's a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, that's 3 or 4 shares of stock right there. So.
Yeah, exactly. Could have made all the difference in the world at that push toward the end. If Aito had been able to buy that stock even faster and just kept pushing that goal line farther and farther higher for Indecision to reach, he may never have gotten there. All right. I'm ready to move on to the next game, assuming we're still doing the best of 3.
Yep, they're in here.
It's actually up.
Okay. It's up. Talk into that.
And we're all set and ready to go.
Let's get map size down to small, and then I think we'll be good.
Oh yeah, thanks for noticing.
Something I'm learning to check, just to make sure, 'cause
Yeah.
it does make a big difference in how the 1v1 plays out.
Yeah, medium wouldn't be a disaster, but large is definitely a stretch.
Yeah. I like small. Small feels good. Tiny does not. Tiny feels awful.
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
when you're scanning.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a tiny
oh,
map
look at that.
on our hands.
You have a very small map with all these
The canyon.
spires of doom off in the corner. Aito, interestingly enough, scanning into those, so he definitely whiffed a scan there.
I
Yeah.
can see a scavenger.
Not he wanted to at all. This map is awful.
Yeah, it looks like we got a lot of single high tiles, so this is not a scientific
Not
map
scientific.
here. So if
I can
either
see a
of them
scavenger.
are used to it, used to going scientific, this could be a problem for them.
Yeah.
You can make scientific. I will say that you've only got these 2 low iron tiles. You can maybe take advantage of the high aluminum.
I would go scavenger on this map.
I still
Scavenger.
probably
He went
Oh,
scientific.
Indecision went scientific. Well,
But
we'll
he
see.
could make it.
You
He
better
could
grab
make it.
those. He's great. He's on his
You
way to
better
those
grab
2
this-
irons.
that
We'll see if
aluminum.
Aito can adapt. I would love to see a scavenger play.
Aito
here.
can go much faster as a scavenger.
Aito, I don't know if he spotted it yet. He hasn't. There are actually high iron tiles.
You see
Oh
that?
wow, yeah.
He should have scanned it better.
He just
definitely.
he just saw it. And there he goes. He's going expansive.
expansive. Now, I've had some trouble with expansive in 1v1 at times.
Yeah, they
It just doesn't
seem.
feel like you can take as much benefit out of your expansive quality because you're just not expanding as much.
Yeah.
So it can be a bit of a difficulty. But certainly with a map like this, it might be a good idea.
Well, you got high iron, high aluminum. We can't complain about that.
No, you can't.
Sure.
What you can complain about is the lack of water on this map. Maybe
Yeah.
robotic would have been a good play because he's gonna have to ship iron. He's gonna have to ship water away from the south. I think he should have gone robotic there on that spot.
I think I might have gone robotic as well. might have been a bit better decision.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure.
he better get down there and claim one of those high waters because he's going to
So
be.
I'm a little bit concerned that Aito's just sitting on this massive amount of iron. He hasn't done any selling of it yet to try and buy up the steel he's going to need
Yeah.
to expand. Indecision not doing that either, but that makes a little bit more sense. He should be able to just ship these steel mills as soon as they're each at 30,
Yeah.
and he'll have all the resources he needs to complete that first upgrade.
Now, would you just grab the 2 low waters next to Aito if you were him?
I think so. The fuel cost is just going to be ridiculous for
Yeah.
someone so far away, and it feels really bad, quite frankly.
Yeah. Oh, here come the pirates.
Oh.
Same move, going for the steel. He's not holding on to them.
Steal that steel. Well, it's a definitely. That is the worst thing to see in the whole world as a scientific player.
Oh, for sure.
Position your steel far away. At
Yeah.
the start of the game, you do not want those day zero pirates, and they just stole both steel mills. Now, something I'll say, if Indecision had been more on the ball, if he had gotten that steel to send when it was at 30, then he probably could have dodged these pirates, or maybe sent in preparation for the auction.
Yeah.
To make sure he would get the steel and ensure that the pirates weren't going to hurt him. He got down in time to make that happen, and he didn't. So
Yeah.
I would call that a bit of a misstep from Indecision, but that would be a very, very high-level play to make.
Yeah, I'm starting to get in the habit of sending my most important resource when I see that pirate auction come up.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the habit of, if I have a resource that can get targeted by pirate auctions, try and notice at like 1800. That way I can just get it to my base before the auction even happens.
Yep. Jizzo mentioned in chat, he's asking, is there plans to disable the catch-up, like the free claim? That's already been taken out in the next update. The free claim will just not even happen anymore. And the effects of the shipments are going to be tampered down. Whether they'll be taken out completely of 2-player, I'm not sure, but I mean there is a no random event option period, which I believe affects both global events and player events.
Gotcha. It's interesting. I like the random events in the 1v1 to some degree, especially because it really does help make scavenger hunt viable. So it's kind of awkward to have to turn those both off at the same time if you don't have either one.
Yeah.
So it's good news that we won't have any free claims running around.
Yeah.
PB is suggesting an underground nuke on the aluminium.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good play for sure.
From either player.
Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter who.
I mean, it's better for Indecision to do it, right? Because he'll be more resistant to the
Right.
underground nuke. It would take, I think, 3 of them to knock that thing down.
Yep.
It's such a huge pain to fight off a scientific player with black market.
Oh yeah, that's the thing to remember, right? If you hit a scientific player, it only goes from high to medium. So.
Medium to low and low to trace. So the underground nuke, potentially a very, very strong tool for Indecision here in particular. Now this is a huge issue. Aito is level 3, Indecision is level 1. He really gotta, like, Indecision should have gone to the wall for those pirates. He let them go for 9,000. They were worth 30,000 for him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
He couldn't let this happen.
Yeah, scientific just have to protect themselves with pirate auctions. It's the most painful thing about being scientific.
Yep. You never want to see that day zero pirate auction as a scientific player. You've got your steel that far away.
Yeah. Aito's cruising ahead. He's got 60 glass stockpiled, and he's just got tons of steel mills down. He's looking great right now.
He's looking better.
Aito just feels he looks a lot more comfortable this game to me.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing as an expansive.
Having said that, I think he should have pushed Indecision harder on that auction, that claim auction.
I think he potentially should have.
I mean, he has
Could have.
Yeah, he's got the higher stock price, so he can take on the debt easier. You don't want to give, like right now, you want to finish the game. You don't want to give Indecision a chance to get out of it one way or another.
Interestingly enough, Indecision is really trying to claw his way back into this. He has gone ahead and been selling what resources he can as he can, it looks like,
Yep.
to grab up extra claims. So I believe he's gone ahead and picked up 2 extra claims.
Yep.
And then has that claim option. So despite being on HQ level 1, he's sitting on 6 tiles right now.
Yep.
Well, he should start investing in them. I mean, he's thinking very quickly.
What's he done with those extra tiles? Let's see. He's got
Yeah.
2 steel mills. Well, the pirates are gone
He's got
now.
power.
So let's worry about that. So he's got 2 power. He's got the
Reactor.
hydrolysis reactor,
This is just the 3.
aluminum, and he also has a silicon tile. He may have to just build his glass furnaces by his base. I would think. Like, I'm not sure if it really makes sense to put a glass furnace on a single silicon. This
I
is
don't think so.
this is
Oh,
this
we
is
see
just
that
not.
power. Oh no, he took it away from him. See that
Oh.
power traveling all through the map, and he took that power again. I mean, indecision here can turn it a little bit
Yep.
by hack.
It was a
hogging
good
the-
move to
the
take
water.
the. You saw what happened there, Zoltar?
Yeah.
Aito
I
wanted.
assume we're talking about the tile.
Yeah, he wanted the medium water. It would have been a very nice tile for Aito for sure.
That's definitely a big risk of not sending those at the same time to make sure you can get both of them.
Yep.
Because sometimes you're just going to get cut off and it's not going to work.
I wonder if Aito knows about using the claim flag, because I wonder if he would have just grabbed, because he's
Carbon.
been level 3 for a while, so he could have
claimed
claimed
the
that
high
earlier. I
carbon.
think.
Yeah,
Indecision-
for sure.
yeah, Indecision came to card. Indecision has some interesting things working in his favor right now, but
I hope indecision actually saw that there's more
I
carbon there.
really wonder why he put down this electrolysis reactor, though. I mean, he's getting the adjacency bonus, but water costs almost $100 right now.
yep.
I think a water pump would have been a better decision after that water shortage.
Well, he knew he was just about to get the medium water, so maybe he just figures he switches out. It's going to be, he's not going to get there quick enough.
Hilarious play from Aito right there. And
I
he's-
know.
Oh, he mutinied it and then he dynamite.
Aito, blow that up.
That's awesome.
Get your man.
That is hilarious. I wonder what he would have. And he was, he's mutinied it and he's scientific, so he could easily get a patent off, before the mutiny
He's
ends.
pulled the patent off of Mutiny's lab as a scientist. It's
And
ridiculous.
I assume what he would try to get would be slant drilling, because that could really break the game open potentially for indecision.
Slant drilling could be pretty huge for either player in this game, quite frankly.
Well, especially for indecision, I feel,
Yeah.
because then he can start dropping those glass furnaces around silicon. Any water tile on the map could become can become a circle, frankly.
Yeah. My big concern about slant drilling in particular is
Mhm.
I'm not seeing a whole lot of areas to get adjacency bonuses on some of these tiles. Like, some of this silicon, there's just no adjacency available, or there's not good adjacency. It might be too easy to cut off at times. I don't know. It's a really, really, really awkward map that, quite frankly, I'm glad I'm not playing on right now.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but he'd be able to drop down that 3rd steel mill. I don't know. I'd see a lot of good things about slant drilling. And
One really
chemicals.
interesting-
Go ahead.
I was just saying one interesting thing we're seeing very, very different from some of our 1v1 games
Mm-hmm.
is both players' debt has been very low. Indecision just sitting at 24,000. Aito actually down at 8,000. So that's potentially going to make for a much, much slower game. Which
Right.
I think will work in Aito's favor.
Is
Yeah.
he going for the carbon? Both carbon.
Wow, is he trying
He's
to
gonna have
monopoly?
it. Mhm.
That's possible.
That's possible.
I mean, you got to swing for the fences if you're in indecision's
Yeah.
position, and that's one possibility.
Is he gonna have a hacker array? Oh, there you go. Before that. there
He's
you
building
go.
a hacker array.
Mhm.
Wow, good
Hacker
call,
array.
Layla. Look at the price of food, though. It's starting to get to some frightening levels.
Yeah.
This is one place where,
Make use of that.
yeah, this is one place where indecision has the advantage. He doesn't have to worry about burning water to make food. And you see the water prices collapsing now.
Water
Yeah,
pump.
As we
that's why I'm
speak.
a little bit nervous about it in a way. It's going to be bringing in a lot of water for indecision, but he's not going to have a whole lot of use for it. Water
No.
is still at $30.
It's still at $30.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to deny it to Aito to make it harder for him to make food.
Glass shortage.
Maybe it would have been better to hit the silicon. Maybe it would have been better to power surge some food instead. Since
Ooh,
Aito
wow.
has that up.
Yeah, that glass shortage is going to be powerful by Aito. That could finish the game here.
It's exactly the kind of thing you'd expect on a map like this with a scientific player. Aito also going to EMP, just knock out some of his buildings. Would rather see the power surge. Power surge can guaranteed knock down all of those for a significant period of time, but an EMP will do just fine.
Yep.
Oops, and carbon comes up.
Well, that's because all the carbon's claimed.
Yep. Not particularly surprising. Interestingly enough,
Wow,
Aito doesn't care. He says,
they're just gonna
whatever,
let it go.
I'm a hacker, right? Look, if I need carbon, I'll get carbon.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well, I think Aito really probably wants to finish up this game before carbon becomes an issue. I'm concerned about his glass furnaces. He's making some money, but not a huge amount right now.
Well, it's about the glass shortage. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it is
coming
about the
along.
glass shortage,
It's
but
coming.
if he can't make this work too well, then he might be in a bit of trouble as Indecision sets up for a real play on carbon later in the game. That said, I think this glass shortage will probably work pretty well from a list. Another really important thing to note is the only thing that Patent Lab has done so far in this game is get me meat. So that's just been a wasted tile basically the whole game.
I wonder what his plan was. I mean, as expansive, I'm surprised he went Patent Lab. Period. I don't know. It's not obvious what he was going to do with it.
Yeah, it's not really obvious at all what he was going to do with it. I mean, he had options, but I didn't see a really clear one.
He just deleted his water pumps. Is he going to throw down some farms there? Well, I don't know. We already has farms. Maybe throw down some reactors, but it's not going to matter. The price of he's got 600 glass. The price is going to get over 250. So that's going to be. Yeah. There he goes. He's got $100,000.
That's probably enough. It's very close to being able to finish the game. If it doesn't, it's probably enough. I'm not quite sure. I can't.
Well, he's going to need 60,000. Well, more than that. It's not going to be enough to finish it, but he's obviously going to be in a very dangerous position for Indecision.
This is my concern. Okay, Indecision, I think, made a terrible decision in power surging these glass furnaces.
Too little, too late.
But it's not stopping a whole lot of income from coming in. So I'm pretty sure those would just be costing money right now.
Yeah.
My big concern is apparently these farms aren't on auto supplies.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of money to be made there right now.
Power has little nuts, which I think really helped Indecision out to make him difficult to buy. Aito is sitting at 93% of what he needs right now.
He's got an extra claim. He's not using his farms.
Another glass shortage.
It looks like he just turned off his farms.
That one was natural too. That's disgusting if you're Indecision. So the power surge worked. Turn off his farms. That's very strange to me. I think he's just turning off everything, trying to force
get there with power
alone.
Yeah.
Not a decision I really agree with when it comes to the farms, especially because they're adjacent to his base. If they were separated, then I could get it. Just send, okay, turn off. I'm going for a push now.
Yeah.
But with them being attached, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, he doesn't really need a push. He just needs to cruise and not make any blunders right now. So.
Yeah, I would agree. On the other hand, he sees how close he is, right? He sees that. And then I think he may have just given up and been like, whatever.
It's tempting.
Glass short came in. I'll just wait. So we did have a natural glass shortage on top of the first one, so that's pretty ridiculous.
Yep.
Another important thing to pay attention to right now, Indecision still has his steel production going. It's very slow.
Right.
Only 2 steel mills, 1 adjacency bonus each. 1.5 steel a second, but that's still 1.5 more than Aito has.
Aito's play is strange. His silicon quarries are turned off. Okay, they're back on again. And he still hasn't done anything with those water tiles. It looks like he really did think he was maybe closer than he actually was to win.
So terrible. 50%, that is pretty close.
Yeah.
He really wanted to make that push.
What's he at now?
He's not.
He's down at 51%.
He's 15.
Wow. Expand with that ridiculous cost of steel. That cost him a lot of money.
Steel.
Yeah.
He's claiming more
silicon.
silicon.
More of an interesting game.
And that water is just sitting.
I don't know how it's going to work.
Well, he needs to do another. He needs to do another glass shortage.
No, that's awful.
What happened?
There's a silicon shortage. There's a silicon shortage. It's so much less valuable. I don't know how much it's going to make right now.
That is tough.
On top of that, the silicon is getting nuked out as this happens, and so he's down to significantly less.
Wow, he's actually in danger. He needs to get rid of those glass furnaces.
Now, one thing I will say is that he turned the glass furnaces off. He responded to this very well. Glass is going to stay. So what he can do is make a large amount of money off of this silicon. That's going to bring the price down, and then he'll be able to turn the glass furnaces back on and still be making a lot of money. Because let's be honest, 3.25 silicon a second at $200 per silicon, that's a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Are they not working yet?
They're still
They
not
are.
supplied, so they're only working.
I think he just does an auto supply as a matter of course. And he looks like he's turning on and off his patent lab and hacker array. I guess he doesn't realize they don't consume power if they're not working.
Yeah, I think a lot of players have noticed that. There are definitely times to do something like turn off your hack array because maybe some of your production got a little bit hit by black market. You're not quite ready for that hack. You're at 90% on.
Strange.
You can do it, and it's fantastic. But other than that,
yeah, strange enough, Indecision is sitting on pirates. It seems like you'd throw them on this would now be a great time to put them on those silicon routes.
yeah, certainly. He already has pirates. I am quite surprised, actually. Those did not go to. Oh, no, there you go. He did it. He got it done.
Yep.
I'd really love to see Aito put up this water, though. That might be in the path of the pirates.
Oh, that would be a great move. Yeah.
Smaller, quality of resources. What is this additional silicon short? I'm sure that one wasn't espionage. I was watching. The hacker array is still working. It was nowhere close to going off.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe it was. I don't think it was though.
Let's switch over. Let's switch over to Aito. Click on his. Yeah, he's
silicon, but he's so far into it. I don't think. Well, anyway, he's at 57% of indecision right now. He's, I think, forced to defend himself.
He's almost.
He can't still. Well, there's the last of it. He did buy up the last little bit of his stock. So Aito, with the stock advantage here, he has 4 in himself and 7 in indecision. So indecision still not looking in that great a spot.
Boy, it ended up a lot closer than I thought it would be, though.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean,
close. It's just a 1 stock difference, basically. Nuking the silicon looks like.
One thing I will say for indecision, it feels like he's fighting back with everything available to him. He's taking these auctions. He's using the black market. He's doing everything he can to try and pull himself back into the game.
Yep.
Whereas Aito is really just kind of trying to coast to victory here.
Yeah, those are down to trace.
I'm also very concerned he's letting these silicon shorts go through when half of his silicon production is going into indecision's hands.
Yep. Yeah, at this point it's counterproductive, basically.
Yeah. I mean, they're sitting on very, very similar amounts of silicon right now. Nobody's really getting a short-term benefit out of it. Long-term, it still goes in Aito's favor, right?
Yeah.
He's got that water production like we were talking about. The Pirates are almost certain to catch at least some of that instead of silicon. So long-term, it could still work out, but short-term, it's still a bit of an issue.
He is now, and he built those water pumps, which is a great move to get those pirates down. He's also researching slant drilling, and I would expect him to put so basically find, what does he have a core? Does he have a silicon quarry left that has not been resource bombed? Yes, on the west side.
Yeah, he does.
So probably be dropping a couple guys down there, but he better buy up a nuke just to have it, just to drive that price up.
This is my other concern, by the way, about Indecision's decision to go for the carbon monopoly. Is realistically, like, those are turned off right now. Carbon's not doing anything. Nobody really had to buy carbon this game, first of all. Second, dry ice, literally all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you absolutely needed carbon,
you're going to get it.
So I think these are just 2 massively wasted tiles that could have been doing so much more. Very similar to that patent lab for most of this game.
What is he doing with those dry ice condensers? He has massive amounts of carbon. I mean, he needs to make a hacker array play, but it's too late at this point.
I agree. I don't know what those dry ice condensers are doing there, honestly. Like, those are so expensive in power. When they come online in the midst of this power short, it could cause massive amounts of issues, and he's not being allowed to transition all of them the way he's attempting to.
By the way, that third low silicon has been nuked too. So now.
One thing that definitely needs to be noted, Aito not really getting to use his tiles very well at all. He's had just empty tiles sitting around for a vast majority of this game, not doing anything for him. So he's not really getting an advantage off of the fact that he's expansive. So he's just using them. Indecision is all the way to 80% of buying them out.
Really?
Whereas Aito's only sitting at about 60 right
Oh
now.
my
gosh.
gosh.
Have to make something happen, and I'm very concerned in particular about how Indecision's been allowed to just sit on these steel mills and not have a counter steel plague coming out of Aito ever.
Yep. It's the power is what's doing it right now, and Aito's just dropped down 3 wind turbines on top of those trace silicon. So now he must have had 4 low silicons all underground nuked this game, because he went to +1 silicon, which I think
He also
from I think
shorted
4.
power.
Yeah, who's shorting power?
He did.
Aito shorted power.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's unfortunate, because
Yeah.
I think Indecision was the one who made all the money off of that. That's, you gotta be careful with the hacker, Ray. Because right now, Indecision has 5 wind turbines, and he's turned everything off, so he reacted quickly.
You guys said something about condensers.
Do have superconductor attached to them.
Oh, really? I forgot that. How did he get that? Indecision has acquired the patent for superconductor.
Yes,
Oh, he did. He mutinied? Oh, brilliant move.
Got the superconductor off of it. He's going for nanotech now. I don't know if it's the time.
It just got blown up again.
That's gone now, so...
Man, that patent lab, Aito would have been better off without that thing for this whole game.
It's pretty much neck and neck right now when it comes to buying each other out.
Yeah, 71 and 73. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But Indecision is certainly rising a bit faster. He's up at 77 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the power rush is over. He needs to switch. He needs to first of all, get rid of those dry ice condensers, and then do something else with all those plots. He's made some great moves, but now neither one of them are using their plots. Aito has 2 empty plots.
I know, and this is my other concern about that steel. I feel like part of it is he hasn't wanted to just pay for buildings this whole time. There we are. Some steel production coming down. Even these are going to cost a ridiculous amount of money because of how much iron costs.
Yeah.
Think about if these farms we got converted back into iron mines just for a short time. Okay, he is doing it with 1.
Yep.
This is kind of the interesting thing about the way he's positioning his plots. Just created some difficulties for himself, and Indecision's getting ever closer.
Yeah.
To getting that buy.
It's tough. He made some real Aito made some really short-term decisions when he was just so close. And you saw he thought, well, if I get to level 5, I don't really need any more steel mills. But now here we are. He needs the steel mills.
And also, silicon getting so expensive. Aito never defended a single one of his silicon tiles. So went down to trace, and he just wasn't able to use them.
And Indecision is the one producing silicon now, right?
Mm-hmm. He's got that 1 silicon tile, which is working much better than Aito's one, which is sitting at trace. They're still just pulling back and forth this whole time. I honestly have no idea if he's going to pull this one out, so that's quite interesting at least.
Well,
power short coming in. That's going to be probably nothing, because frankly, power's being
Indecision has 94% of Aito.
Alright, that's starting to really
Did Aito mouse over this? Did he actually get the slant drilling? Mouse over.
I don't believe he did. I'm a little bit worried about that patent lab.
No, he did get slant drilling. He should switch those. Even though they're traced, he should get rid of those wind turbines and drop down 3 quarries there.
That's actually Indecision.
Oh, Indecision, she's got 100%. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was a
huge turn.
That was an incredible comeback by Indecision.
Wow.
That's got to hurt for Aito. He was so close. What was the highest? Did you see how high his percent got for?
93 is where it capped out. It was pretty close, but I think there were some really questionable decisions during the course of that push.
Yeah.
And if he had made them, he would have actually succeeded.
Yeah, I need the right metaphor. It's like, you're running, you take that jump, and you land just like a couple feet short, and then you have no forward progress. That I see that happen a lot in Offworld. When you're going for, like, especially in the 2-player game.
Yeah. Well, Indecision did end up making more money off of silicon than Aito did.
Wow.
55,000 sold.
Yeah.
So that's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Aito did make more money on glass. That's fairly nice for him. Indecision making seriously a lot of money on oxygen.
Yep.
Fair amount on carbon. Certainly the ice condensers working all right for some period of time in that game.
Yeah.
The only real questionable part being the power price.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah. I mean, Indecision made some very good choices that game after he founded. Like, I think that was the initial found was a big mistake, but after that moment, he seems like he did the best he could with what he had. He made great use of the black market, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing I really actually want to harp on this game is I'm going to go to the black market tab right now and look. Indecision with 10 black market purchases, and all of them, 7 of them aggressive, 3 new claims, which we saw most of which he grabbed up very, very early in the game to make up for the fact that he couldn't expand at all, and then 3 groundings, 3 mutinies, and 1 power surge. Whereas Aito made 8 black market purchases, 4 EMPs, 2 dynamites, and 2 queen squads, and both of those dynamites or counters,
Right.
rather than going ahead and just grabbing up your own mutiny.
Yeah.
Which is a bit interesting because the prices weren't that different at that stage of the game, and I have to question it because he definitely had the money to get to the mutiny when he needed it, especially the first time.
Yeah, it may have been an emotional response. I think maybe sometimes people don't think about mutiny, back to mutiny. They just want to get rid of the thing. But certainly considering the fact he was going to have to rebuild the patent lab, that seems like that would have been the obvious choice.
Yeah, that is the especially questionable part. At that stage of the game, when glass is getting crazy expensive, you're trying to make money on glass because of that cost, and then you're just cutting into it even more, trying to get those farms down, having to rebuild your patent lab. It's just, I don't think that was the right call.
Yep.
He's actually in the lobby. I created one just so we can talk.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Well, yeah, Aito is in the chat for Zoltar. He says, "Man, that was intense. Learned a lot. Tough loss for Aito for sure."
Indecision made it hard on him. I mean, Indecision. We have to give Indecision earned that win.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
He was clearly playing quite well in that game. So, a bit of a tough loss for Aito, but definitely shouldn't take it too hard. Really, really well played game by Indecision.
Yeah.
I was just, my eyes were glued at the percentage. Like, 94.
Yeah.
What?
You didn't quite get to 100. It's interesting to ever have the game where someone actually gets to 100 and then ends up losing, but this was not quite that, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, I've seen that before. It's an interesting little game. Usually not 1v1. Usually 1v1 people are on the ball enough.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny. When you see that percentage, it seems so obvious to you, the viewer, but to the person playing, like they don't know. It's easy to sell all, but how do you back your way out of that once you realize you just bottomed out the aluminum market and you're like, oh shoot.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not a great thing.